At 81 years old, Pattie Boyd is finally opening up about the truth of her life with George Harrison. The love, the heartbreak, and the lessons that shaped her soul. Born Patricia Ann Boyd on March 17, 1944, in Somerset, England, Pattie's early life was marked by constant movement as her father served in the Royal Air Force. The family's nomadic lifestyle taught her grace and adaptability, qualities that would later define her as one of the faces of the swinging 1960s. After settling back in England, Pattie took on a nurturing role in her large blended family and completed her schooling before moving to London in 1962, just as the city was becoming the center of fashion, art, and rebellion. Working at a salon, her natural beauty caught the eye of a magazine staffer, leading her to a modeling career that would make her one of the most recognizable women of her generation. By the mid-1960s, Pattie's face was everywhere, on the covers of Vogue, Vanity Fair, and countless other magazines. Her fresh, effortless beauty represented a new kind of femininity, one that inspired millions of young women and redefined what it meant to be glamorous. But fate had more in store for her than just modeling. In 1964, she was cast as a schoolgirl in A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles' first film. It was there that she met George Harrison, the band's quiet, introspective lead guitarist. Their chemistry was instant. George, shy yet persistent, asked her out the day they met. And although she initially declined, he eventually won her heart. They married in 1966 in a modest ceremony, becoming one of the most famous couples in the world almost overnight. To the public, they seemed like the perfect picture of love and beauty. But behind closed doors, their marriage was far more complicated. George was deeply spiritual, spending hours in meditation and studying Indian philosophy, while Pattie, though supportive, often felt left behind. He was searching for something bigger than fame, she recalls, but I often felt like I was watching from the outside. As the pressures of fame grew and the Beatles began to unravel, cracks started to appear in their relationship. George's infidelities, including a rumored affair with Ringo Starr's wife, left Pattie heartbroken. Meanwhile, George's close friend Eric Clapton had fallen deeply in love with her, a torment that inspired his legendary song, Layla. Pattie found herself torn between two musical geniuses, caught in a triangle that became one of rock's most infamous love stories. She stayed with George for as long as she could, but by 1974, she could no longer ignore her unhappiness. "I didn't stop loving him," she later said, "but I needed to find myself again." They divorced in 1977, yet their connection endured. "We forgave each other in the end," Pattie shared. There was no anger left, only gratitude. Soon after, she married Eric Clapton in 1979, but their marriage too was troubled. Clapton's struggles with addiction and infidelity turned their relationship into a painful cycle of love and heartbreak. Still, she became his muse, inspiring songs like Wonderful Tonight and Bell Bottom Blues, which captured his obsession and admiration for her. By 1989, their marriage had ended, and Pattie finally stepped away from the glare of fame. In the years that followed, she rediscovered peace and fulfillment with Rod Weston, a property developer who brought calm and normalcy to her life. After decades together, they married in 2015, proof that after all the chaos, Pattie had finally found her home. Now, looking back, Pattie Boyd reflects on George Harrison not as a legend, but as a man, spiritual, flawed, and endlessly searching. "I adored George," she says softly. But being married to a Beatle wasn't a fairy tale. It was often lonely and full of contradictions. Still, she remembers him with tenderness. "He taught me to look beyond the material world, to find peace within myself," she admits. "That lesson has stayed with me all my life." When George passed away in 2001, Pattie grieved deeply, realizing that despite everything, he had left a permanent mark on her heart. He was my first great love, she confesses. I don't think anyone ever forgets that. At 81, Pattie Boyd's story isn't just one of fame or romance. It's a journey of resilience, forgiveness, and self-discovery. Behind every song she inspired, behind every photograph that captured her beauty, was a woman learning how to love, how to lose, and how to live on her own terms. Love isn't always forever, she reflects, but it shapes who you become. In telling her truth, Pattie reminds the world that behind the myths of rock and roll lies something far more real. The story of a woman who loved deeply, survived heartbreak, and found peace in the end.